Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to my top 100 vintage games. We are counting them down and we are at number 70. Yes, we're already there. At number 70 is the old vintage game Bargain Hunter. Bargain Hunter, you're moving around this mall with a set of money. You're looking at department stores. There's always two of each type. However, there are these price cards on there that will switch up, and some stores have better deals than others. You don't want to pay top dollar. You want to get the best bargain, right? But also, as you move across the board, these cards will change. And so the bargains will change up. Sometimes you can get amazing deals on refrigerators or stoves or sofas or, whatever you need. Pets too. You're going to the pet shop too, and prices of pets can change. Absolutely wonderful game. There are these luck cards that can, sometimes hurt you, but most times help you. And there's credit cards. You can run up a credit debt of up to $1,000. Now, to win the game, you got to get all the items on your list and pay off your debt, and you will have debt in this game. In the past, the game has gone a little bit long in the tooth because you do garner a lot of debt in the game. So what we just did to solve the problem, I really do think it solved the problem here. We just gave everyone double the starting money. And when you give people double the starting money, yeah, they run out of, they have money that goes a little bit longer, and you still go into debt, but you're not in just bad up to your eyeballs debt like you are the entire game just about. We have some very, very bad shoppers, right? They're not really bargain hunting there. But when I did that, the game did improve for us finally because it kind of cut down on the time it took, because the game goes, we played one game for 3 hours one time. That was insane. So I had to change this rule to give people double the money, and that way the money stays a little bit longer and the game goes by faster because you're getting more items quicker. This game is dirt cheap. Anywhere you go, anywhere you look for it, it's dirt cheap. If it looks and sounds like a game that you would love, then go on and check it out. It's fun. My number 69 is TV Wars. I absolutely love this. It's a game that came out in the 80s, and it has a bunch of then 80s shows, spoofs on those 80s shows or 70s and 60s shows. This was back in the time when I was watching tons of TV, and I get most, if not all, of the jokes from the movies and TV shows they're talking about there. You're basically these 4 TV stations, and you're duking it out with one another for, supremacy in the TV wars. And all 4 corners of the board have a TV war going on. If that's the case, you put your best lineup on your schedule. Everyone rolls it out, and whoever has the lowest amount of viewers per hour, they lose that show. Now, the game is over when you've eliminated every other player, meaning if they have no more programming and a TV war hits, they're automatically out. And what we've had happen, this game has slowly dropped like a hot rock on my list the past couple of years because everyone has found how to break this game. Money is super tight in this game, so you don't want to bid too high on any of these. But if you go all out and bid on like the first 3 or 4 bids, you'll be completely out of money. But if someone can land on a war space in that time, you will win the game. Because you can knock out the other players where they will have no other shows and they'll be knocked out completely from the game, or the other people who didn't win any bids don't have anything, they're automatically out. I stopped playing with my nephews because they figured that real quick, and then I played with a different gaming group, and someone figured it out immediately. He bid big on the first 4, and then someone hit a war. He went, "Does that mean I win?" I went, "Yep." So the past few times I've taken this game out, it's taken longer to set up than it has to play the game. And the time I've taken to set up, we could have played 5 of those games we played. It's just awful. So I can't figure out a way to stop people from doing that. Why not? Because eventually everyone's going to bid almost all the money they have for the same thing. Well, if you do that and we do land on a war, it won't knock anyone out because everyone will have at least 1 show or 2 shows. I don't know. I mean, it's still a risk. And then you won't have any money and the game will last forever because you need to get money first, and money's kind of hard to get. So, I don't know, it ruins the game either way, and I'm trying to find a way to get around this rule, but I can't think about it. I guess, who am I to say, this is how much you can bid on the first round? That's no fun. So, even though I do enjoy the game, it just keeps moving down my list because, doggone it, everyone keeps finding out how to break that game. Oh well, still a fun game though. If your gamers don't figure it out, it is a fun game. My number 68 is a German game, basically called Dinosaur. You are one of 4 clans of dinosaurs. You're riding these dinosaurs. They're all battled up. They got this battle gear on them. It's really awesome. It's basically just battle. You're playing cards, battling other dinosaurs, rolling dice, using fireballs, actual fireballs, throwing them in a volcano to re-roll some of your dice. There are these extinction cards. So like if you're completely out of one dinosaur and your opponent still has those dinosaurs, play the extinction card and everyone has to roll this die. If it pops up 0, then they automatically lose that dinosaur. Now, yeah, there's a good chance they won't roll a 0, but there's a risk involved. And when you play with 4 players and you play that early, and sometimes you play it, you have to use it on your dinosaurs too, but it's worth the risk to hurt your opponent even more. There's a lot of neat strategy. It basically boils down to just a battle game. There's a lot of setup in here, but I think the game time does exceed the setup barely because you're trying to fit all those little pieces together on the dinosaurs. But it is so much fun. And like I said, the pieces alone, this game looks amazing. And it's one of my nephew's absolute favorite games. They love battle games. And of course, why wouldn't you love battling with dinosaurs? For the first couple of years I had the game, I never really played it per se. The first few times I got the game because my nephews all 4 of them just kept playing it over and over again. They wouldn't let me play. I was like, can I team up with someone? They went, nah. But it is a fun game. I don't know how much it's worth because you do have to go overseas to get it and shipping may kill you on it. But if you like just straight up, vintage battle games, yeah, I can definitely recommend this one. At number 67 is Mr. Creepy's Tomb of Doom. In Mr. Creepy's Tomb of Doom, you're playing all these little mini games to get the chance to pick one of these random keys around him and stick it in his treasure chest. If you're wrong, his teeth and eyes will just chatter and go nuts, and then you just guard the key and try again for the next mini game. Or you're right and the treasure chest opens straight up and you grab a coin. First person to grab 2 coins wins. It's a stupid little game. You can get this for super cheap, I think, and it is fun, especially for kids. The little mini games aren't that hard at all. My wife really loves this game. She thinks it's very funny. And it's kind of weird because the skull that looks kind of creepy, it does look like a creepy game. That's usually not something up her alley, but she has a lot of fun playing that game. So does my nephews too. We all have fun. Just the mini games. I just wish the games were a little bit more advanced a little bit, but they're really just one's like picking sticks. Whoever picks the one with the red tip wins. I mean, one's, matching 2 out of 4 cards. That's it. To get a map and you win. I mean, it's just very simple ones. One's just dropping a bone. If it drops up on one side and the other person doesn't have theirs drop on the side with a dot on it, you win. I mean, just one of them is just like grab a key, so there's no game here. So I was like, I wish there were just better games for this. But overall, it's very light. It's a children's game like it should be. And for its purpose, it is fun. It is fun. I do admit, I do have fun playing the game, regardless of how simple those mini games are. My number 66 is a vintage game on my list. Don't have many vintage games on my list. Got rid of them all a long time ago, but kept just a handful. And this is one of them. I think I have 3. So chess and Boggle is the second one I have. Absolutely love Boggle. Dude, I rule at Boggle. But unfortunately, everyone knows that and no one will play Boggle with me. No one. The last time I played, I've told the story 3 years ago, I think. I told everyone, you get a free round. I'll come in on the second round. I still beat everyone. I just really love that game. So maybe when my girls become expert spellers, I'll say, hey, you want to play Daddy in a game of Boggle? It is educational because how many times you go look in the dictionary and go, no, that is a word. That is a word. And but it just makes it so much fun. I have Super Boggle actually in my collection with its bigger, more word cubes to do. But so much fun. I'll probably never get to play this for years, I guess. But if I ever do, it's going to shoot back up my list. I guarantee it. But for right now, 66, not bad. 65 is another game that I absolutely love. I love all these games in my top 100, obviously. But Star Trek, the board game, oh my gosh. It shows the picture to the first movie, but basically it's based on the original series. You're the beautiful Enterprise of different colors, and you're trying to accomplish 3 of your 4 missions. They could be explore different planets, or find new alien races, or go deliver an ambassador from one planet to the next. And the thing is, once you complete 3 of them, you've won, and make it back to your home base, you've won the game. It's very thematic. It's so thematic. You use warp speed and throw 2 dice and zoom across the stars. But at the same time, you got to get to some of these planets at exact count. So then you have to go at impulse power, which means just move 1 space as you approach the planet or the quasar or the constellation, whatever you're supposed to, the nebula, you're supposed to do some science research on it. Like I said, very thematic of what the Enterprise would have done back then. There's no Star Trek game that's not going to do this and doesn't involve war, right? I mean, every once in a while you get attacked by Klingons, but that's about it. Every other Star Trek game deals with war. This one deals with space exploration, which is what Star Trek was all about. Very thematic, especially for the first season. Absolutely love this. It keeps dropping on my list because I can't find anyone to play it with me. My wife says no. My nephews say no now. So I'm kind of running out of people to play it with. But I love this game. I love the look is an older, late 70s, early 80s look, but I absolutely love that. And it's so much fun. It is so much fun. I can hear the Star Trek theme song. You gotta play the original soundtrack as you're racing through the galaxy in your Enterprise. Anyway, great game, well worth your time. I don't need any other Star Trek games because I got this one, and that's good enough for me. Ooh, one more thing about the Star Trek game I should mention. There's a lot of replayability there because the star map comes in these like little puzzle pieces, these 5 pie pieces that you can switch around and flip. They're double-sided, so the space map will always be different every time you play. And the cards that you deal out with the planet reveals will always be different too. So the constellations will always look different too. So a lot of replayability here. Okay, anyway, love the game. Number 64 is right now one of my little nephew's favorite game ever. It's his #1 game, he told me. It is Screwball Scramble. Screwball Scramble, you're taking this little metal ball bearing and you're moving it through this big obstacle course before a minute is up on the timer. I think it's a minute. It could be 90 seconds. Either way, though, it is so much fun. I remember playing this game as a kid, seeing the actual edition of Norm from the Board Game Museum gave me an extra copy. And I said, well, it's probably just not as fun. Because I got Labyrinth a long time ago with that metal ball bearing, and I used to have fun with it as a kid, but now as an adult, I'm like, this is just pissing me off. Don't like it as much. But that, it's called Run Yourself Ragged too, and there's different versions of this game. So but they're all the same, basically, all the obstacle course you have to go through. It's so much fun. I can't tell you how satisfying it is to win it. Before the time dies out, to that last action you have to do to ring that bell is awesome. And then as people get better at it, you have to, beat someone's time. Now, my little nephew, he's really good. It's the one game he dominates his older brothers with, so that's why he loves it, I think, so much. But it is a fun game. We've brought it out several times and played it several nights with my little nephews because they just absolutely love it. And yeah, it's a fun one. Screwball Scramble. Number 63, I think, is the last classic board game in my collection. This one is Memory. The game of Memory. You're just flipping over 2 tiles, seeing if they match. If so, you get them. You'll get points at the end of the game. My wife and I sat down one night and I said, what game do you want to play? She said, pick one. I said, Memory. And she's like, sure. We had a great time. We were laughing the whole time because sometimes people got super lucky or you picked the wrong one. Like, no, it was the one on the left. I should have known. So much fun. So much fun. I love the game of Memory. I have the same version that I had as a kid. It's the 70s version. And so I just have a lot of memories of playing that as a kid in the 80s. And I cannot wait till my girls get old enough to where we can play this game. Because honestly, you do have to have a good memory, but luck of the draw, you can win one too. So much fun. Love the game of Memory, which is why it's on my list. At number 62 is a game that has risen very high on my list lately. It's Chopper Strike. Chopper Strike, you are playing basically checkers in a way. On 2 different levels. There's helicopters. It has this clear tray. I've talked about this mechanic so much. I love it. But there's a clear tray which represents the sky. You have helicopters on each side of it. At the bottom on the board, you have jeeps, that will fight too on the board. So Jeep can kill Jeep, helicopter can kill helicopter, helicopter can kill Jeep, and Jeep can kill helicopter. So you need to watch out on both levels. And the level I find that we don't pay attention to the least is the Jeeps. because you're looking down on it and you can see the helicopters because they're up in the sky. That top board, you can see everything. Sure, you can see the clear picture, but you don't realize how close those Jeeps are to your helicopters and vice versa. So you need to watch out, because if you can eliminate all of someone's Jeeps or helicopters, you don't have to eliminate them all, just one of those armies, you will win. And I find out the Jeeps are the sneaky ones you got to watch out for. Love that game. You're playing, in a way, checkers or, battle. You're playing two different games at the same time, in a way, as you're rolling these die and deciding what you're going to move and who you're going to attack and how. So much fun. It'd been a while. I don't get two-player games to the table that often, but again, one night, Mrs. and I were playing just a ton of two-player games, and I got to play Chopper Strike for the first time in years. I was like, wow, this is a great game. So it just rocketed back up on my list here at number 62. Finally, at number 61 is the vintage game Dynamite. In Dynamite, you are moving across this tower. You're trying to get to all 4 towers, building bridges and crossing them until you get back to your own tower. The first one to do that wins the game. Sounds easy, but it's not, because as you're rolling and planting pieces of the bridge, half of those rolls will be dynamite explosions. You push the plunger down the middle of the board, and one of those 4 bridges you've been working on are going to blow sky high. Sometimes they'll take you with it. If so, you just go back to the last tower you crossed. Such a great game. Can be aggravating at times, but it is a lot of fun to play. Every time I brought to the table, me and my nephews have had the absolute best time playing it. So can't talk about it good enough. Dynamite, my number 61. All right, folks, that's it for now. Hey, come back next time as I go over my top 60 games of all time. See you later.